The iPhone 16e was just announced. I mean, it's the 16e. It's not going to be that expensive. It's not going to have all the good features, but that doesn't mean it's not good. The iPhone 16e is obviously at the very bottom of the lineup, came after, even though I feel it should have been launched at the same time as the other iPhones, but then again, we didn't know it was coming, so that's a nice surprise. So the first thing starting it off, it starts on the A18 chip. Now that means it's like it has the same chip as the iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus, so that means it should have the same performance. This new chip makes it 40% faster than the previous E generation phone, and it also makes it 80% faster than the iPhone 11. Now, the iPhone 11 was the base of like the 11 series, so the fact that a phone that's designed to be like under the base is fast, like almost 100 times faster. That means almost 2 times faster. So that is like very like surprising, but then again, it makes sense because it's the A18 chip. They also introduced the Apple C1 chip. It's the first ever like cell phone chip that was made specifically for Apple's like iPhones, and they call it the C1, and like it's supposed to make the 5G a lot faster. That means less chance for like static calls. That means like better signal even in places that don't have that good signal. That also means faster internet browsing. All of those things. Any like games that like involve internet, like online games, you'll be able to play all of those games faster. So with the M1 chips, it made it a lot faster than Intel chips. So that means this, because it's Apple and their chips, like they're groundbreaking, like world-breaking chips, like they always come out on top, you get what I mean? I still can't find a computer that's faster than the Mac Mini in its price range. So with this C1 chip, we know we're gonna expect a lot of stuff. Getting into the battery, it has 26 hours of video playback. They don't exactly say the battery size, but for 26 hours for such a small phone, that means it's gotta be a pretty decent sized battery for like the phone. It now charges with a USB cable, so that means you won't have to you still won't have to get lightning cables. You can just easily like, let's say you have an iPad or another iPhone that like iPhone 15 and up, so you don't even have to get a new cable like for it. It comes with a cable obviously, but if you ever need a replacement, you can just use the same cable. Obviously, it definitely gets iOS 18, which will help you share videos and files and photos like faster and more seamlessly. That also means you'll have like smoother like system animations, you'll have smoother everything. You'll be able to share contact info, you'll have Apple Intelligence, and not only that, you also have lots of new like the operating system. We've all seen iOS 18 by now. Unfortunately, it still does not have the dynamic island, so that's a no-go. But then again, it's supposed to be the cheapest one, so they have to cut some of the features away. But that also means it gets the same customization as all the other new Apple devices, so that means you'll be able to change your like Apple-based apps like color, like the logo color. You'll also be able to change your lock screen like and your home screen a lot more like easier. You'll have more customization. Lightly touching on Apple Intelligence, just a reminder for those of you who like need a reminder, you also have cleanup in like the Photos app, so that means you can remove objects and people from your photo. You can also find photos faster. You also have clean your mail, so that means you'll have like summaries of your mail. You'll also be able to respond to emails faster with Smart Reply. You also have Genmoji, so you can create emojis from scratch and use it in messages and notes, and you can also create emojis from people like you, objects, and all of those things. So you also have like the writing tools, where that means you can like change your tone in writing, you can clean it up, kind of like Grammarly built into the iPhone. And it's also integrated with ChatGPT, so that means you can create meal plans, you can create like scripts and all of those things too. So the same way Galaxy AI has Google Gemini and Google, it's the same way with Apple Intelligence. They have ChatGPT. You can also decide when you want to use ChatGPT, so that's useful. If you want everything to be like based off Apple Intelligence, you can decide if ChatGPT is being used. You have visual intelligence, so that means you can view posters, you can put it in your calendar, kind of like the new thing with Google Gemini on the S25 Ultra. And you can also just search things up, like it's the same way it sounds, visual intelligence. You see a dog, like you can put your phone up to the dog, activate visual intelligence, and then you can ask it what like breed is that, and all of those things. Like, it's just like Google Lens basically, and circles to search, but in iPhone. Getting into the design, it also gets the action button. Shame it doesn't get camera control, but like I said, it's the cheapest phone on the lineup, so they have to cut some things down. Kind of make people think they should get one of the other phones, like iPhone 16. You'll be able to launch visual intelligence from the action button. It has a 6.1-inch display with ceramic shield, which they claim is the strongest smartphone glass, and they say it has 4 times better drop performance, basically. The frame is made out of aerospace grade aluminum, so obviously it's definitely not going to get titanium. If iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus don't have titanium, why would the cheapest phone have titanium? That makes 0 sense. So the aluminum is no surprise. As for color options, pretty bland. It only comes in matte white or black. They should have had more color options, but to make things better, they say you have lots more like customization options with cases. Like, you could take other cases like pink, black. Why wouldn't you need, well, it's a case, so I guess you would, if you like black, you would pick a black case. But they should have added more colors. Getting into the cameras, it has a 1 camera system. It's a 2-in-1 fusion camera, and that camera is a 48 megapixel camera. The photos, it's almost like it's not even being taken on an iPhone E at all. It kind of looks like the iPhone 16 photos. Of course, the iPhone 16 photos are gonna come out like better because it's a 2 camera system on those, but it's not that far from like iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus quality. It's not that far from it. Getting into safety, it has emergency SOS via satellite, so that means you'll be able to make calls even in places with 0 signal. Like, let's say you're on a hiking trip, or you're in a forest or something, and you have 0 signal, you'll be able to access lots of satellites, like up in space, obviously there's satellites, and then you can call loved ones and even contact first responders. And it also has crash detection, which has definitely saved a lot of lives by now. So if, for those who don't know what crash detection is, because it's one of those features that they keep quiet, they don't really talk about them. Crash detection is basically when you're in a car, or basically any moving vehicle. It doesn't really have to be a car. And then if the phone is still intact, and then if senses that you crashed, it'll immediately call first responders. Oh, real quick, I forgot to add, it also has Face ID. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure if that was absent in the other ePhones, but they definitely made it clear that it had Face ID, so maybe it's a lot better. Lastly, getting into the price, I've said so many times that it's the cheapest in the lineup, but it actually is at $599 with 128 gigabytes of storage. $599 is a little more expensive than the iPad, which kind of doesn't make sense because the iPad it's like bigger, it has more to it, but then again, it's a phone, so the camera's gonna be better, so I guess there's got to be a reason that it's more expensive than the base iPad. But that's cheap for an iPhone. Most of the time when we see these iPhones, they're minimum like $700 and up, so $599 is a pretty good deal. Okay, that's all I have to say about the iPhone 16e. I'll do another video on it, giving you my final thoughts on it. Like and subscribe, and share this video with someone you know will enjoy it if you enjoyed it, and peace.